Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Ultimate Comparison. In this episode, I'm going to clear your doubts and give you the most in depth comparison between the Boat Stone 1200 and the Boat Stone 1450. So, yes, I do read the comments, and I've been seeing so many of you have been asking me to compare these two and asking me which one is a better pick between these two because the Stone 1200 retails for around 3000 rupees, while the 1450, the latest launch from Boat, is retailing for 4000 rupees. So there is quite a substantial difference of 1000 rupees, and that is quite a lot. So is it worth paying the 1000 rupees extra, and what is the difference in sound quality? That is all that I'm going to explain in this episode. And of course, you're going to get the sound test at the end of the episode. And like I always say, that if you do enjoy watching my content and find my videos helpful, please consider smashing the like button, leaving a comment on this video, and subscribing if you haven't already. And after watching this video, if you are convinced that one of these speakers or both are the one that is perfect for you, may I request you to kindly use the link of these speakers given in the description below to make your purchase. Trust me, it's not going to cost you anything extra, but you guys will be helping me run this channel and produce more such high quality and helpful content just for you guys. All right, so with that said, let's begin. All right, so first, obviously, these two speakers share a lot of similarities and there are a few subtle differences. So I'm not going to waste your time by going over each and every one of them. Rather, the chart you're seeing right now is basically what those differences and similarities are. So have a good look, pause the video if you need to. Got it? All right. Well, now I'm just going to say that while this is a 14 watt speaker, the Boat Stone 1200, and the 1450 is a 40 watt speaker, or so they say. Honestly, in my testing, it was really difficult to actually determine that the 1450 is a 40 watt speaker. It didn't sound like a 40 watt speaker because being a 14 watt speaker, the 1200 was equally loud. So that was kind of strange, and it makes me wonder whether this is actually a 14 watt speaker or whether the 1450 is actually a 40 watt speaker. So I guess we'll never know, but let me just say that in terms of volume, if that was a factor, you don't have to worry because even if you get the 1200, in terms of volume, it has got you covered. It is plenty loud and it's not by any means less loud or weak sounding in terms of volume compared to the 1450. Now, design wise, I prefer the design and look of the 1450. I just think it looks much more cool, and this integrated handle is, I don't know, I just find it very convenient and feels, like I said in my review as well, very reassuring compared to the strap of the 1200, which I'm not a fan of straps and I think it looks kind of clumsy and it's not as convenient to carry around, but maybe that's just me. Okay, so now let me talk about how I found the sound quality to be. What is the difference and which one is superior and why? So you guys know, if you're an existing viewer, I never just say good sound or bad sound. I always delve deeper and tell you that I judge speakers based on how they produce the three main frequencies that make up any sound that you hear: the highs, the mids, and the lows. Highs where the really sharp sounding instruments are, mids where the vocals lie, and the lows are the bass, which we all love. Starting off with the high frequencies, if you are looking for the sharpness and that extra bit of clarity, it is the Boat Stone 1200 that sounds far sharper than the 1450. Now, this obviously is going to come down to your personal preference because none of them sound bad and none of them had distortion even at max volume. Just that the 1200 sounded far sharper compared to the 1450, which sounded much more natural. So if you are on the lookout for a speaker that produces very sharp vocals with a lot of clarity, maybe a bit of extra sharpness, then you should go for the 1200. Else, the 1450 is going to produce, in comparison, subdued and natural sounding highs. So that is up to you. Either way, none of them are bad and no distortion. Okay, now moving on to the mid frequencies or the vocals. Again, the same thing that happened with the higher frequencies rolls over to the mid frequencies, where the 1200, the vocals are rendered much more sharp compared to the 1450. So the vocals sound much more, have a lot more clarity and a lot more sharpness. and they sound much more upfront compared to the 1450, which again, in its defense, sounds natural. So if you're a purist, if you don't want that extra bit of sharpness, go for the 1450 because it is the one that sounds more natural. And in comparison, the 1200 is going to give you very, very, very crisp vocals. And it's worth mentioning that none of these had any distortion, even at max volume. And the highs and mids were separate. They didn't get mingled together and didn't have any muffling. So that is a win for both. But now you have to choose based on the kind of sound signature you want. More sharpness, the 1200, natural sound, the 1450. All right, so now let's talk about the low end or the bass response. Now, I honestly was expecting the 1450 to take this round because, well, it's a 40 watt speaker and it just looks more beefy compared to the 1200. But again, just like the volume, I was surprised because the bass sounded equal. And in some tracks, I would actually say that the 1200's bass response sounded just a tad bit more deep compared to the 1450. And I was like really surprised because I wasn't expecting this. I knew the 1200 for its price has a very, very good bass response, but I wasn't expecting it to go toe to toe or surpass in certain tracks the 1450. Now, having said this, it doesn't mean that the 1450's bass response is weak. By no means is it weak. I mean, it packs a punch. They both are almost equal, just that maybe because of how the drivers are tuned, the 1200 in certain tracks sounded a bit deeper, and the 1450, well, it didn't sound as deep, but it had the punch. Again, these roles were reversed in certain tracks where I felt the thump was more in the 1450 than on the 1200. Now, one thing also worth mentioning is that none of these actually have 360-degree sound. It is the front of these speakers that produce the majority of the sound. So this area right here is where the full range of the sound comes from. So if you're sitting behind this, you are going to miss out on the full range and it's not going to be the same experience. So guys, I think I've summarized and said enough. So if I had to pick, I mean, both are great speakers, but if you're on a tight budget and want the best value for money, you should go for the Boat Stone 1200. If you have the budget and if you like what the Boat 1450 offers, and if you like the sound signature of the 1450, then by all means go for it. Either way, none of them are going to disappoint you. So guys, if you want my verdict, now I personally, if I had to suggest a speaker to someone out of between these two, keeping in mind that you should always look for the best value for money. Just because you have the budget doesn't mean you have to go all out. Sometimes less is more. So in my opinion, the Boat Stone 1200 is the winner for me because for 3,000 rupees, which is 1,000 rupees less than the 1450, you get the same features, rather a bit of extra feature. You have FM, you have a better battery life, and surprisingly, like I said, the volume is equal, even though the 1450 is a 40 watt speaker and this is a 14 watt speaker. So I think it's a win-win, and just save yourself 1,000 rupees and go for the Boat Stone 1200. That would be my humble opinion. But if you have the budget and you prefer the design and the build and the sound signature of the 1450, that can absolutely be true, then definitely go for it if you have the budget. Either way, let me just say that none of these are going to disappoint you. Both are great speakers, just that the 1200 packs more value for its price. So guys, that's been my ultimate comparison between the Boat Stone 1200 and the 1450. I hope you found this helpful. If you have, please smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And after listening to the sound test, which is going to come up right now, whichever speaker you decide to pick up, kindly use the links of these speakers given in the description below to make your purchase so that you guys can help me run this channel and produce more such high quality and entertaining content just for you guys in the future. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the sound test. I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.
suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire.